Pleasure to have our friend Senator Lindsey Graham with us. Lindsey Graham, this administration has funded Iran directly and indirectly, which has funded its surrogates. Hamas attacks Israel, Israel defends itself. Hezbollah attacks Israel, Israel defends itself. The Houthis attack Israel, Israel defends itself. Iran attacks Israel, now Israel's going to defend itself. What the hell is wrong with this administration? They're so proud of themselves. We shot 12 rockets in the sky. We don't know how many of their missiles we hit. Defense, 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 defense. Isn't now the time to deal with this, Senator?
Absolutely. So, one, thanks for having me on the show, and thoughts and prayers with our friends in Israel. I'll be going over soon. So the root of all this problem is Iran. The biggest miscalculation since World War II is the administration's view of the Iranian regime. It all started with that. They provided sanctions relief. They gave the Iranian regime $80 billion in new revenue. When Trump left office, they were selling 300,000 barrels of oil a day. Now it's 1.2 million. That's $80 billion over the last 3.5 years. It's gone into Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Iranian war machine. They think Iran is a normal country. They're not. The Iranian Ayatollah is a religious Nazi. He wants three things. He wants to purify the faith and go after the Sunni Islam world. He wants to kill all the Jews in Israel and come after us as Americans. That's not my words. Those are his. So this administration's obsessed with trying to appease Iran, like the world was obsessed with trying not to provoke Hitler. In the name of not escalating, the world is on fire. To my friends in Israel, do whatever the hell you have to do.
You know, Lindsey Graham, I'm watching the press, which is truly pathetic. And I'm watching the press, and what's Israel going to do? What's Israel going to do? Well, first of all, they're apparently having to negotiate with the appeasers in our State Department, in our Defense Department, to get permission to do something that really needs to be done. And they're withholding weapons from Israel. They've been withholding weapons from Israel that you guys in Congress voted for.
Well, I tell you, Mark, what I'm going to do, and I've talked to one Democrat already. I talked to the Israelis today. I talked to Bibi. I talked to the ambassador. They're going to provide me a list of needs for their missile defense system. It's going to be around $10 billion. They're shooting everything they've got. The Arrow is the high-altitude defense system. David Sling is the medium level, and Iron Dome is the lower level, dealing with missiles at that level. They need to be restocked. They need to be replenished. So I'm going to say on your radio show tonight that I will do everything I can as soon as I can to give Israel more military support for their missile defense system. As to this administration, they have been trying to hold Israel back. They've been slow-walking weapons to Ukraine. They don't understand the only thing Putin will deter him is getting hit, force of arms. This war has gotten out of control with Ukraine because they're not getting the weapons they need. And when it comes to Israel, they've been slow-walking weapons. This is an outrage. Israel's not the problem. Iran's the problem. So when we go back, and we need to be back like tomorrow, there needs to be an aid package for our friends in Israel.
In all your years in the Senate, you worked with Kamala Harris, or at least you saw her. She's vice president. She's never lifted a finger to help the state of Israel, has she?
No, she's a mile wide and an inch deep. She sat there while some student, accused Israel of committing genocide and didn't say a word. The first things out of her mouth after she had a meeting at the UN was to call on Israel to create a ceasefire. The world is literally upside down. You have the largest state sponsor of terrorism that has hacked into President Trump's campaign file, Iran, threatening the life of President Trump. Listen to this. This is 30-something days before the election. The Iranians had been caught trying to assassinate President Trump, and President Biden has not said one word. He should tell the Iranians the ultimate election interference is try to kill a candidate. If you're coming after Trump or any other official, we will hit you, and we hit you hard. We've lost all deterrence. They're sitting on the sidelines.
Let me stop you there a second. Franklin Roosevelt, Harry Truman, Dwight Eisenhower, John Kennedy, Ronald Reagan. If a regime like this threatened the life of a presidential candidate, they'd know it's an act of war and they'd do something about it, wouldn't they?
It literally is, Mark. I mean, what is a hostile act under the law of war? Trying to assassinate the nominee of a major party would fall in that category. Hacking into a campaign of a nominee of a major party and trying to share it for a political advantage is the ultimate disruption of democracy. I don't want to hear any more about defending democracy. You have a chance here, President Biden and Vice President Harris, to tell the Iranians, if you continue down this path, you do so at your own peril. They're literally sitting on the sidelines and have done nothing publicly to challenge Iran's brazen attempt to kill President Trump. And what did Trump say? If the shoe were on the other foot, if they were coming
he'd
after
obliterate
my opponent, I would obliterate them. That's what Roosevelt would have said. I think that's what any right-minded person would do. So when it comes to Kamala Harris, not only has she been an unreliable ally of Israel, she is AWOL at a time the Jewish state needs all the help it can get. She has done nothing but talk. She tried to deter the invasion of Russia 4 days before they invaded, said you better not. They did. So nobody in the world of bad guys are going to be deterred by Harris. And let me say this about Trump. He can be a handful, but I've come to admire him, I like him, and I miss him. If he sent a rowboat with one guy with a pistol, they'd all stop. Mm-hmm. The point is, the Iranians know that if they screw with him, they're going to pay a heavy price. We've lost deterrence. It's no accident since he's left office. The world is on fire.
We only have a few minutes, Senator. What exactly are we doing to prevent Iran from getting a nuclear weapon? In fact, we subsidize them. Mali is under investigation, and they won't give you guys on the Hill all the information. He had 3, I argue, spies. People can say what they want, who worked for him. They were special pleaders for Iran, communicating with Iran. I mean, this makes Alger Hiss look like a joke. And
well, it's funny. You can't make it up. I mean, in the election cycle of 2024, you have the Iranians trying to assassinate President Trump, brazenly so. We had a briefing about this. You have the chief negotiator for the Biden administration being accused of being, basically an agent of Iran. So here's what I would do. If I were the Israelis, I would tell the Biden administration, we're going to hit them in their pocketbook. We're going to knock some of their refineries out. Without oil money, they have no ability to hurt anybody. Cut them off at the knees, hit their refineries. As to a nuclear weapon, here's what I fear the most. The more Israel diminishes Hamas and Hezbollah, the proxies of Iran, the more likely they feel that Iran needs to break out to get a nuke as an insurance policy. And I think they'll try to do it before Trump comes back into office. So I really worry about a breakout by the Iranians to try to acquire a nuclear weapon as an insurance policy.
I agree 100%. So let's be honest. It's left to Israel to do this. The United States isn't going to do it. We have 30% of our Navy there, and we're still not going to do it. And just tell the country before you leave us, when you're talking about hypersonic or ballistic missiles, those are intercontinental missiles. In other words, it's not just aimed for the region. It's aimed for the United States, perhaps, right?
Yeah, so let me just tell you about the biggest game changer in the world would be a nuclear-armed Iran. The Arabs would want a nuke of their own because Iran wants to obliterate Sunni Islam. They feel threatened. Saudi feels threatened by Iran. The state of Israel, one Holocaust is enough. The state of Israel will never allow a radical religious Nazi like the Ayatollah to get a weapon without a fight. We've got a bunch of power in the region, but Iran doesn't think we'll use it. If we had one rowboat in the Mediterranean under Trump's watch, they would stand down. We've lost deterrence. So to my friends, and I love you deeply, the state of Israel, if you need to hit their nuclear program, hit it. If you need to hit their refineries, hit them. Protect yourself. Help is on the way. Trump is going to win.
All right. We'll keep up the fight. Half the problem is, well, never mind. Senator, I want to thank you very, very much. Keep up the battle, and we'll have you back, I hope.
Yes, sir. God bless.
You too. Be safe out there.